regular member representing the Integrated Bar of the Philippines.
Thank you, and good afternoon to my former classmate, Commissioner Henares. You look good and relaxed. I hope you are relaxed.
Yes.
To be interviewed by two classmates. Anyway, may I know what inspired you to pursue a career in the Office of the Ombudsman?
Well, I think first and foremost, I'm still a Filipino, and I would like to help my country. So it's an offer to help in any way I can, rather than just complain. So this is an offer to do my part if I will be appointed. But if not, I'm sure there are things I can do also as a private sector.
If you were not appointed Commissioner of the Bureau of Internal Revenue, then would you have applied for the Office of the Ombudsman? Just curious.
It has never been in my career plan to be in government. So when I went to government, it was actually a detour. So I don't think, if I wasn't appointed in BIR, I don't think I will be involved in government, because that has never been my career plan.
You are currently a self-employed consultant. May I know what field of consultancy do you handle?
Yeah, I do a business management consultancy, legal consultancy. Actually, what I really do is, if there's a problem, I try to help the client solve it using all legal means, what the law allows them to do. That's basically my consultancy.
And you do not handle any cases?
I handle everything except litigation. I don't like to litigate.
So you were a former BIR Commissioner from July 1, 2010 to June 30, 2016. How may your expertise in taxation be applied to eradicate corruption in the government?
Well, I think one of the tools that the Ombudsman uses is the lifestyle check, which is a network method, which is basically what BIR does. We filed a lot of run after tax evader case using a network method. So we compare, we say, we look at your asset. So you say your net worth is 100 million, then we look at the income tax you filed, and you only filed 1 million peso. So it's the same process as you do with lifestyle check, right? And the other thing is, like, say, now that there's this controversy about spending, it's about money. So what BIR really does is we are good at following the money. So it's I think the thing there's, when I was in BIR, it's more dealing with the taxpayer, but it's almost the same skill set, but now you're going to deal with government officials and employees.
So it's more concentrated towards public officials.
Yes.
Okay. In your action plan for the Ombudsman, you mentioned as one of your long-term plans is the establishment of the Ombudsman Academy. Can you briefly discuss the details on how to attain this goal?
Well, I think you need an approval, a law that will establish the Ombudsman Academy, and now we have to discuss it with the legislature to allow for its establishment and the funding thereof. And what I think I want to do is institutionalize all those training that the staff of Ombudsman should be doing, and put it in a structured manner, so that when a new person come in, there's a structure, there's a way, it's already a curriculum. You teach them already how to do network method, how to do investigation, make aware of how you will have custody of evidence, how to make sure your evidence is admissible to court. So you formalize it and institutionalize it into an academy.
So this will be a physical academy like the Philippine Judicial Academy?
It may or may not be a physical academy. It can be incorporated into the ombudsman itself. No? It can be an online academy, no? Because nowadays everything is online. I know you don't really need to have a structure, physical structure. No? It really depends on when it will be established, because you can actually do it, and probably the academies also give you a certificate, no? So that it becomes part of your, you get your merit, civil service qualification, CESO, whatever, no? So that you can go to other, and probably you can, if you don't like to work anymore with the ombudsman, you can use the same skill set to work for private sector.
In your action plan, you also mentioned under the heading of public education, launch publicity efforts, advertisements, road shows to solicit action and support from the public for anti-corruption efforts, drawing inspiration from Hong Kong's Independent Commission Against Corruption. Can you enlighten us what is this ICAC?
ICAC is the Hong Kong Ombudsman. So basically, they have a program where it's a public awareness program with the Hong Kong residents. No? So basically, what I hear while I was studying all the laws that the Ombudsman is trying to implement, there are things that even me, I'm not aware of. No? So we should make the public aware that these are prohibited act and they can report it. No? So how do they report it? Right? Because, like for example, all this thing about lifestyle ostentatious display, it's actually prohibited already in a law, but I think people are not aware of it, right? So it's part of the public awareness program that should be disseminated to the public, because the public are one of the vanguard that will help us and help public officials stay honest, no? Because we cannot guard everyone, so we need people to be more aware, and if you're more aware, then public officials will also be more careful.
My last question, how do you define moral courage in public office? And can you cite an instance in your career when you had to make an unpopular but principled decision?
Well, I find moral courage in my belief in God, and I find moral courage in my upbringing. My parents taught me to do good and to avoid doing bad. And I
This
think,
is in public office.
yeah,
Yes.
I find moral courage from that. No? So when I went into government, I already have this basic in me. And the other thing is my president, Pinoy, also, I find courage from him to be able to do what I did, because he fully supported me. You know? And it's a 100% support. Instances where it comes to play, I have relatives who somebody taught my relative that they can sell them something and not pay taxes. They just have to make it appear like it's a donation, and they will be paid abroad. No? So I said to my relative, don't you dare do that, because I'm going to file a tax evasion case against you. And I also advise the RDO and regional director of that jurisdiction, told them that you should not allow this transaction, because it's not a donation, it's a sale. So I guess that's one of the very clear instances. No? And I think I want also to raise the point about this opposition to my application. That is also one of the things that a government official have to face. No? When you're doing because as a government official, I have also to protect and give due process to the public, to the taxpayer. It's not just because somebody complained that you will hook, line, and sinker believe in it. No? So we have this Mr. Dalanon who keeps on who was on leave, but when I got into office, he came and said, I have an assessment of 1-point-something billion against a multinational company. So this is a multinational company, and it was the first few months of my service, and we were looking for money. Why won't I be happy to collect that 1-point-something billion pesos? But the taxpayer came and said that that's impossible. This is a multinational company. So what I did is I told the taxpayer, let's determine who's telling the truth. Is it okay for you if I reinvestigate and re-audit you? And the taxpayer said yes. So we did a re-audit, and it came down to 4 million pesos. Because the examiner double-take up a lot of things and did not want to listen to the position of the taxpayer. And because it dropped from 1 billion to 4 million, I had it re-audited again. And it came out to be 4 million again. So that's what, because as far as I'm concerned, you pay the right tax, not a single centavo, more or less. After that, this is the risk of public office. This person filed a complaint in the ombudsman, which was dismissed. And from time to time, he would post in Facebook about these things, which has already been resolved. And I was really not paying attention to him, but this has been going on already for 2010, so it's now 16 years. I'm already thinking of maybe I should do something, right? But these are things that are hazard of the office. If you need to do what is right based on the facts presented and evidence. It's not a popularity contest. There.
Thank you for that explanation. And like I said, that was my last question. So good luck to you, Commissioner Henares.
Thank you, Justice Uy. Our next